The university announced that it would conclude this investigation this weekend. I would presume an announcement coming sometime after that. What's your take on what we've heard so far today from the university president?
Thanks, Paul. Yeah, that's pretty much what I expected. I had heard that as recently as this morning they were still obtaining information and obviously still working on everything. So I would have actually been surprised if they would have come to a conclusion on Sunday. But as far as the timeline that Ohio State's president laid out about the investigation being completed Sunday, and then, of course, then they give all that information to the president and the board of trustees, who ultimately will make the decision based on this information. So during this week, I thought it was unlikely that they would have a resolution to whatever they decide with Urban Meyer by Sunday. So that kind of fit the time frame that I was hearing. And then I guess the question now is how far into next week will we go until they do let us know what decision, if any, is made about Urban Meyer's future at Ohio State.
Brett, thanks again for being with us, because we talked to you not long ago on the day that your original story came out, and we've spoken to you a couple of times since then. But within the last few minutes, you have dropped another story at your new place of employment under the heading, Zach Smith ordered sex toys to Ohio State offices, had sex with staffer, took nude photos at the White House. The headline's jaw-dropping enough until you actually start reading what you have written. Can you give us some context of what you have just dropped?
You summed it up pretty good, Paul. I mean, basically between February 2015 and May of 2015, I've got documents that show that Zach Smith ordered more than $2,200 in sex toys or paraphernalia, photography equipment. All of those items were delivered to Zach Smith at the Woody Hayes Athletic Complex there in Columbus. And also on top of that, have evidence of nude photos that Zach took inside the offices. And also on April 20th, 2015, when the Buckeyes visited the White House, when they were honored after winning the 2014 national championship, he also took pictures of his private parts, if you will, including one that had a background from a towel, White House towel, that showed the United States presidential seal. And basically, I don't know if your next question is this, but why is this significant? Well, part of the reason is an individual that he was having sexual relations with in the Ohio State football offices was a staff member at Ohio State. She no longer works in the football offices. And it just shows, again, another alarming trend that Zach Smith basically had a different set of rules, it appears, than everyone else. The Toledo Blade reported earlier this week that there was a DUI or drunken driving charge in 2013 that had never been reported. Zach Smith's lawyer said Urban had no knowledge of that, which Urban as well as I do. I would be shocked if he didn't know one of his assistant coaches had been arrested. And also you've got a guy who's your recruiting coordinator driving with I assume would have been a suspended license for 2 months until that charge was resolved. So here's another indication of something that was going on there that either Urban had no idea about, or he had some knowledge about some of it and chose not to do anything. I want to stress, I don't have any knowledge whether Urban did have any knowledge of any of these things that I reported today. Either way, I can't say. Again, I'm just presenting the information, and people can decide for themselves if they think Urban knew about it. And certainly that's something Ohio State's investigative board and board of trustees and president will ultimately decide.